Stop.
You have a bloopers section. Bloopers, don't have your boyfriend running through the background.
That was one of my pieces of advice. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erin. I am a second year urology resident. I do videos about med school, about residency, vlogs, just whatever is going on in my life at the time. I'm currently on call. I seem to do all my videos while I'm on call because I'm like up and thinking and like trying to be productive. And so then I just on my like home call portion. So we do home calls. I'm at home for part of my call. So I try to like film videos and stuff. But today's video is going to be tips for virtual interviews. Urology, at least, and I think many other programs are doing virtual interviews again this year, meaning that we will all be interviewing from our homes, which I personally think is a little, there are pros and cons. Pro, way more cost effective, way more inclusive for people who maybe wouldn't be able to afford going on a number of interviews otherwise. You would avoid going into debt to go into interviews, which I think is like crazy. But I think a major con is that it's very much harder to get to know programs and to get to know the residents and for the programs to get to know you. So pros and cons, but it's happening. COVID's coming back. So I thought I would give you tips on how to do well in these virtual interviews. So I hope you enjoy. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let's jump in. So my first tip is it's all about lighting. And I will give you tips that I have learned. I'm obviously not a pro. Production value on my videos isn't like the highest, but I have learned a couple things since being on YouTube and having a camera shooting myself. Number one, you want to have the light in front of you. So if there's a window, like you don't want it behind you so that the light's coming this way and you're in darkness. You want the light shining on your face, whether that be a window in front of you. I have, like, you can't see them, 2 lights here, like my whole room's lit up. I have a window coming from the side, which is like fine. And then there are little things you can buy online, like ring lights, miniature ring lights that you can like clip to your computer. This is like a video conference light, but it's just like a little light that gives you light on your face. And I think that actually makes a huge difference. It just like affects the quality of your video. And I think that can actually like affect how people think you interview. So I think it's worth investing. Some of these aren't that expensive, in a little light that just illuminates your face and can make your video look that much more professional. The second thing is always test your equipment beforehand. Make sure your audio works, make sure your video works, make sure you've downloaded whatever system these programs are using. I remember I had a video like chat on Teams and I was like, oh, I'll just click the link and it'll go to Teams and like I'll figure it out when I start. So I sign on, I try to click the video link when the chat's gonna start, and because I hadn't downloaded Teams, like I had no video, so no one could see me. It was like a phone call for me. They could hear me and I could see them, but they couldn't see me. And to fix it, I had to like exit the chat, download Teams, like reboot everything. It was a whole mess and it looked very unprofessional. So always make sure to troubleshoot whatever program they're using, whether it be Zoom, Teams, I don't know what else, WebEx, whatever people are using. Make sure to troubleshoot it before your interview. Make sure your audio is working, your video is working, so that everything runs as smoothly as possible. My next piece of advice is to get a stationary chair, not a swivel chair. Don't do your interview in a swivel chair because inevitably you will start to swivel and it will be distracting. You might not even notice it. You may not notice you're doing it, but the people interviewing you will notice. And again, it just looks not the best to be like moving around everywhere in an interview. So get a stationary chair that is comfortable, that makes you sit up straight, that you're not slouching in. Posture is important. Don't like be lounging everywhere in the interviews. Try to look like professional, like how you would sit if you were actually sitting face to face with someone. Another thing kind of to add to that is I always think it's a good idea to block off your face on the interview screen. So like either if it's like a little post-it where your face is, or if there's some way you can figure out in the screen how to do it, that means you're not constantly looking at yourself, like fixing your hair. I even notice like when I'm filming, I have a viewfinder and I like look at myself, like this is me looking at myself and this is me looking at like the actual camera. There's a difference. And I think it's just a good idea to, you won't be able, emulate basically the situation of being in a real interview as best as you can, like face to face. So you can't see yourself when you're interviewing face to face. So try to block yourself off in a video interview, because I think inevitably you'll mess with something. You'll be like straightening out something all the time. You'll be looking at yourself. It'll be distracting. Just best to take away that distraction. Next piece of advice is log on early. 5 to 10 minutes early is all you need, but just don't log on like at the time, because you'd rather be waiting for the people interviewing you. You don't want them to be waiting for you. So just log on early. You can sit there, you can think about things in that 5 minutes of time, have some self-reflection, and be ready when they log on to start being engaged. The next one is pretty self-explanatory, but it is about your background. This is obviously not the best background, but it's pretty neutral of a background. I think anything that you have in your background is fair game. So if there's a picture, a poster on the wall, that's fair game to talk about. So don't have anything in your background that you don't want to talk about. No dirty clothes, no messy room, no doorways that people can be walking in and out of, like if you live in a house with other people. Just try to make it like as neutral as possible. Maybe a nice plant, a nice painting, something that's like interesting but not overwhelming and not going to be like the absolute focus of the conversation or distracting from your conversation. My next piece of advice is to wear your full interview outfit. I know it's very tempting to wear pajama pants and a nice top, but who knows what's going to happen. Maybe they will, I don't know, ask you to get up first. I don't know. But just to be safe, wear your whole interview outfit. I also think it just helps get you into that interview vibe. Like it's hard not to feel relaxed when you're in your pajama pants. So wear your nice pants so that you sit up straight, so that you treat it like a real interview. I just always think that's the best option. During my orientation for residency, was wearing a regular nondescript t-shirt. Like I wasn't in my business casual stuff, but nondescript t-shirt. This was on Zoom. And then I was wearing hot pink bike shorts, and I had to get up for some reason, and I'm sure everyone saw my hot pink bike shorts, and I was like, oh my God. So that is my advice. Wear your regular dressy pants. The next one is to just alert everyone in your house that you are having an interview. Maybe there's someone who can take your dog if they're a barker, barking to go out. Maybe you can go to a quiet spot, like a private room in a library or something. Again, to minimize distractions. If it happens, it happens. And I think it can be endearing. Like if you have kids and your kids are in the house and you can't go anywhere and they can't go anywhere, people understand that. That's part of life and that's part of the interviews. But I always think just for your own comfort and for you not to feel embarrassed and for you not to get distracted, even if the people on the other side of the camera don't mind it, just for you to perform at your best, I think just minimizing distractions, alerting people that you're in an interview. Whenever I would do things for orientation, I'd always tell my parents, I was living with my parents at the time, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be doing this, my sound's gonna be on, please don't knock on my door, please don't bother me, I'll come tell you when I'm done. And they were very respectful of that, and it just made me less anxious. So I always think it's a good idea. You can do whatever you can do. 2 more. So the next one is to prepare like there's any other interview. I think that there's this feeling in Zoom interviews that, maybe it'll be a little more relaxed, a little more of like a conversation. This is unprecedented times, but it is still an interview. You're going to be asked the same interview questions that you'd be asked in a non-virtual interview. So prepare those questions, prepare like this is a regular interview. That way, if it is more relaxed, great, and you can be more relaxed, but if it isn't, you're not going to be stressed about it. And the last piece of advice is to go to as many virtual interview dinners as you can, or virtual get-togethers the night before. It's, again, not the same as the in-person thing. I still think you get a better idea at those pre-interview dinners of how the residents interact with each other. It's, again, more relaxed. You can have a drink than at the interviews when you're just interacting with the attendings, when you're just getting asked questions and it's more professional environment, just so you can get a feel of what the residency program is like. And I think it looks better when you show up to these pre-interview dinners and just get your name out there. I know it's exhausting, but it might be worth it in the end. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and good luck to everyone who is interviewing this year. Maybe I'll see you if you interview at my program in urology, very specific group of people. All right, I'll see you next time.